In this video, I'll go through what I believe to be the best GTA San Andreas 0.3 DL for PC. I'll go through the install as well as the options and how you can change things to your preferences, also some troubleshooting steps as well. In the background just now, there's a bit of a showcase of how the game looks. As you can tell, it's not majorly changed. It's mainly focused on fixes and creating a stable game, to which then you can add your own textures or mods to your own liking. However, I play as exactly as shown in the video, so more mods definitely aren't required. As an overview of the game, it includes Clio, an ASI loader, SAMP Addon 2.5, GInput for controller support, and the option of adding SAMP funcs and Moonloader as well. To begin the install, I'm just going to assume you've already downloaded the download in the top of the description. So you open up the zip and drag the folder wherever you want. It may take a minute to do this depending on your computer. I'll speed up here just to get through it. So as soon as you've done that, you can open up the folder, open up the SAMP, ensure the path is correct here, otherwise it will launch a different GTA, so make sure that's correct. Add a server here, so play.ssrp.com, and in the name box you want to put your master name. This doesn't have to be an RP name for my server, it's just the master name. And that's pretty much it. If you've played SAMP before, that's all you need to do. If you want to re-enable pause, what you need to do is you need to reinstall SAMP Addon. So open up the exe and locate the game directory again here. You can select your FPS limit, but just disable it. If you want to re-enable pause, untick the box. But I like to have it disabled so that I can be focused on my other monitor and still see the game. If you don't like Widescreen Fix, what you can do is you can open the scripts folder and just delete both of these. And a lot of people complain about that, but I prefer it, so I use it. Also, if you want to change the HUD or the map scale, you can just change these numbers here. As you can see, the original value is on the right, so you can just reset it if you would like. If you want to use controller support, the config for that is here, so you can change the control set if you like. But the way I have it set up is pretty good anyway. So what I do is I use a PS5 controller with DS4 Windows, which means I can bind the buttons specifically to how I like. So what I do is I swap R1 and X, just so I can use the handbrake as R1. If you want to change the crosshair, you need magic TXD, so you can open HUD.txt here, scroll all the way to the bottom, and say M16, you can replace that if you want. To adjust the sensitivity finally, you can use Sensfix.ini, these are the ones I use, but you can change it more finely there. I use 1 bar here, I've got a back to my mouse pad and I've got a Logitech G Pro Wireless, so that works for me, but you might want to use a higher sensitivity if you've got a lower mouse pad. If you want to remove or change any of the textures, you can do it here, Modloader. There's plenty of tutorials, but as I said, there isn't too many crazy ones in this game. It's kind of just making it look a little bit better, but if you're not looking for it, you won't notice it really. I mean, I think the main ones, the rods, those are a bit different, but otherwise, pretty standard looking. This game is also compatible with SAMP funcs if you use the 0.3 DL version. If you need it for whatever reason, you can just drag it straight in. The same goes for Moonloader as well. You can just install Moonloader if you have any need for that. But the way the game stands is neither of those are required, so I just left them out. Another optional mod is ImVehFt, which kind of enhances the vehicle lighting. So this is quite nice to use, but I don't know if it negatively affects FPS too much. But again, you can just drag it in, and as you can see with the rear lights on the ground, there's a bit of a glow there. This is another software that I use sometimes called Borderless. It means you don't need to go on full screen and you can tab out instantly. So I use that sometimes. And also, if I need to lock my FPS for any reason, I use RivaTuner, and you can just set the FPS number there. And if you faced any issues of launching Singleplayer, this is likely if you've never installed SAMP before. So what you need to do is just reinstall SAMP, install it in the same folder again, and try again. That should now launch the server properly. If you're still having issues crashing, then I would suggest a completely empty game with no mods at all. So what you want to do is just have an empty GTA and then install GTA San Andreas 0.3 DL on top of that, and that will still work. It will just look horrible and you'll have no mods, but it will still work. So that's how you can tell if it's the mods that's the problem, or you have another problem on your computer. Also make sure the path's correct in there as well. Just as a bit of a disclaimer, I didn't make any of these mods, and essentially all of them are closed source, meaning that the code that created them isn't public. Therefore, as users, we essentially have to trust the author hasn't done anything malicious. I try to pick only well-known mods, however some don't have the best reputation. I do use these mods regularly and have never had anything bad or heard of anything bad happening to anyone, but still use at your own risk. Also, just a warning to pretty much everyone who plays SAMP on PC, be very careful the servers you join. I recommend only joining well-known established servers, as there are many exploits which can allow servers to run code on your computer if you join, so be very wary. If your primary concern is security, then I'd recommend 0.37 R5 with the latest version of SAMP Addon, as those have a number of patches which don't exist in 0.3 DL or SAMP Addon 2.5. Okay, the final thing I'll cover in this video is some detail around SAMP Addon and what exactly it is. SAMP Addon is a primarily Russian mod made for a server called Absolute Play. It is then converted to an English version of some of the features removed by the author. There are many different versions as seen on the screen here, none of which are perfect, and actually seem to get worse the nearer they get. I think sticking to 2.5 is the best of both worlds, for both shooting, driving and regular gameplay, so that's what I went with. But if you never drive, for example, and only shoot, you might want to change to 2.4. So that's pretty much it for the video. If you have any questions or any problems, feel free to put them in the comments, or also join our Discord at Sunset Roleplay. You can ask questions there as well. So, thanks.